Imagine, just for a moment, that you are surrounded by a vibrant crowd. People are laughing, conversing, and sharing experiences. Yet, amidst the joy, you feel a profound sense of loneliness. You reach out, eager to connect, but there's an invisible barrier that seems impenetrable. Reflect on how often you have felt this way, sensing that, even in a gathering filled with others, you remain an island, isolated and disconnected. You may find yourself questioning whether something is inherently wrong with you. Why do the simple tasks of making friends and forging deep relationships feel like mountains that are impossible to scale? But what if I told you that this solitude is not merely a burden, but could signify something deeper, something divine? What if your feelings of isolation are not an indication of failure, but rather a badge of honor, a sign that you are chosen for a purpose that many may not comprehend? This experience goes beyond mere shyness. It's about a calling, a divine whisper indicating that you are destined for something greater. At times, this means treading a path that few understand or share with you. Today, we're delving into the reasons why the chosen ones, perhaps people like you, often find themselves in solitude. It's not that love is absent. Rather, this journey requires moments of quiet where profound growth and a connection with God can occur. So, if you've ever felt adrift, misunderstood, or out of alignment, I warmly invite you to journey with us as we explore 7 reasons behind this solitude and how it molds you into the person that God intends you to be. Let's embark on this journey together. One of the most profound reasons the chosen ones frequently find themselves alone is divine protection. This idea may initially seem perplexing, especially since solitude can often feel more like isolation than a protective shield. Nevertheless, we must acknowledge that God's plans for us sometimes necessitate a separation from potentially negative influences that could steer us off our heavenly path. Divine protection often pertains not just to our physical safety, but also to our spiritual and emotional well-being. For those marked for special purposes, the journey is about preserving the purity of heart and maintaining clarity of mission. Consider how many times friendships or connections have led you to stray from your values or made you feel the weight of peer pressure. For chosen ones, these aren't mere social mistakes. They are distractions from a divine plan. When certain relationships fall away, it is not a punishment, it is preparation. Reflect on Joseph, a notable figure in the book of Genesis. Joseph's isolation, betrayed by his brothers and unjustly imprisoned, was a form of divine protection, shielding him from lesser destinies and equipping him for the monumental leadership role he was destined to fulfill. In our contemporary context, divine protection might manifest as the loss of friends when you begin to live a life more aligned with your faith. It is natural to feel lonely when old friendships fade as you draw nearer to God. Remember, when God removes a distraction, it is often to direct you toward your intended purpose. Divine protection can also present itself as an uncomfortable feeling or a gut instinct about certain environments or relationships. These feelings are not random. They are divine signals guiding you away from potential harm. So, if you find yourself isolated or struggling to form certain relationships, consider it not as rejection, but as divine safeguarding. When you feel alone, understand that your solitude might indeed serve as a shield. Embrace it, seeing it as divine protection, knowing that God is intricately involved in your journey, ensuring that nothing derails His incredible plan for your life. Each moment of solitude is a significant step, not away from others, but closer to the divine. In this light, solitude can be perceived as a sacred privilege, a necessary space in which you are under God's watchful eye, being prepared and propelled toward a purpose that only you can fulfill. The second reason why chosen ones often find themselves alone is to undergo intense personal development. This type of growth is crafted by God, necessitating periods of solitude to enable maturation and refinement in ways that everyday social interactions cannot facilitate. Personal development, especially in a spiritual context, involves honing one's character, deepening spiritual wisdom, and cultivating a more intimate relationship with God. It often calls for moments of quiet, removed from the distractions of the busy world around us, allowing for significant introspection and encounters with God. Moses, an essential figure in the Old Testament, serves as an exemplary model of intense personal development through solitude. Long before he led the Israelites out of Egypt, Moses spent 40 years in the isolation of the desert, tending sheep. This lengthy period of seclusion was instrumental in shaping his character, instilling in him the faith and strength necessary for the monumental tasks that lay ahead. The quiet desert was where Moses encountered the burning bush, a pivotal event not only for him, but also for the destiny of the Israelites. In today's fast-paced world, carving out time for solitude may feel challenging, yet its significance remains. Those who recognize their calling should earnestly embrace moments of solitude for prayer, meditation, and the study of Scripture, as these practices lead to profound personal growth. Through them, we gain insight into our divine purpose and can align our lives accordingly. Personal development often includes facing challenges directly, and solitude can intensify these experiences, forcing us to confront our fears. But rest assured, these challenges serve a divine purpose. They are meant to strengthen our faith and fortify our character, preparing us for the unique roles that await. If you find yourself navigating through a season of solitude, consider it a vital period for personal development. Utilize this time to deepen your relationship with God and understand His will for your life. Engage in spiritual disciplines such as fasting, prayer, and Scripture study. Reflect on the transformations occurring within you and how they are shaping you into the person God has destined you to be. Embrace this season as one of growth and preparation. Just as a seed must be buried alone in dark soil to flourish, our spiritual journeys often require solitary periods of refinement. During this time, your roots are growing deeper, your faith is becoming steadier, and your spirit is being fortified. In conclusion, intense personal development is a crucial reason why chosen ones find themselves in solitude. This solitude is far from a punishment. It is a divine workshop where God crafts His finest instruments. In these quiet moments, we are transformed and made ready to fulfill the extraordinary lives that God has called us to lead. The third reason the chosen ones often experience solitude is that they are destined for uncommon paths. Those called to fulfill unique and impactful roles may walk alone as part of their preparation for extraordinary destinies. An uncommon destiny refers to a life path that is markedly different from the ordinary, shaped by God for specific purposes that can create a profound impact. Such destinies often involve decisions, sacrifices, and commitments that are not always understood or embraced by the wider community, leading to feelings of isolation as chosen ones realize they don't align with the priorities or lifestyles around them. Consider John the Baptist, a key figure in the New Testament. His life was characterized by distinctiveness, from his ascetic existence in the wilderness to his significant role in heralding the arrival of Jesus. John's calling was anything but ordinary, mandating a lifestyle separate from societal norms to focus on his divine mission without the typical distractions of social or family ties. In today's world, individuals with uncommon destinies might find that their convictions or the demands of their calling set them apart in ways that are difficult to navigate. This could manifest as pursuing a career that challenges societal expectations, initiating a ministry that targets unreached demographics, or leading a life that prioritizes spiritual growth over secular success. these choices can create disconnect with friends, family, or society at large, often resulting in a journey taken in solitude. Embracing your unique destiny means accepting that your path will be different and, at times, misunderstood by others. It requires staying true to your calling, even when it means walking a road less traveled. This solitude is not indicative of failure. Rather, it is the necessary space where you can grow into the role God has designed for you. If you frequently feel alone or misunderstood due to your choices and beliefs, take comfort in the knowledge that it may stem from the uncommon nature of your destiny. Remind yourself that significant responsibilities often demand extensive preparation, a journey that tends to happen in solitude. You are not alone because you have lost your way, but rather because you are being guided and prepared for your extraordinary future. As you walk this unique path, cherish the moments of solitude and the divine lessons they bring, knowing that they are essential for the fulfillment of your God-ordained destiny. Let us guide you on a reflection of your life's direction and the deeper purposes that may beckon you toward a path less traveled. Commit to pursuing your calling with both courage and faith, trusting that God's plans for you are good and that He will equip you for every challenge you encounter. In conclusion, the journey of a chosen one can often feel solitary, as it is an uncommon path. Just like John the Baptist, you may be called to prepare the way in the wilderness, creating straight paths for others to find their way to God. Embrace your unique voyage, understanding that your solitary walks are indeed steps toward fulfilling the incredible destiny that God has in store for you. The reason for deep spiritual connection stems from the necessity of solitude. This connection with God often requires a quiet space, away from the distractions and noise of everyday life, where divine conversations can occur without interruption. For those called to a close relationship with God, the depth of this connection can transform their entire existence. It encompasses more than mere occasional prayers. It is about nurturing a continuous dialogue with God, seeking His will, and being receptive to His guidance. This profound communion may demand periods of isolation, where the soul can focus solely on the spiritual, free from worldly concerns. Even Jesus, in the fullness of His ministry, sought out solitary places to pray. Notably, before choosing His disciples, He devoted an entire night to prayer in solitude. These moments of quiet reflection were vital for His ministry and decision-making process, illustrating the significance of solitary time in spiritual discernment and connection. In today's bustling world, finding solitude for enriching spiritual connection is both a challenge and a necessity for those sensing a call toward a higher purpose. This discovery may take the form of setting aside regular times for prayer and meditation, attending retreats, or even creating a sacred space within your own home where distractions are minimized. Another reason why chosen ones may find themselves alone is that solitude is essential for managing their unique perceptual gifts. This peaceful time allows them to maintain their spiritual health, ensuring they continue to serve effectively in their divine calling. Embrace your need for solitude as a divine tool that safeguards your sensitivity, which is crucial for your role in God's plans. Furthermore, solitude serves as preparation for future roles. Those called to significant tasks often undergo isolation as part of their growth process, equipping them with the wisdom, skills, and spiritual strength needed to face the challenges that lie ahead. Many prominent biblical heroes, as well as modern-day leaders, have benefited from periods of solitude that have shaped their paths. Such preparation is not merely about gaining knowledge, it pertains to character formation, deepening faith, and aligning one's heart with God's will. This involves rigorous spiritual training that typically happens away from the distractions of social life. Consider the story of Paul the Apostle, whose transformation from Saul to Paul was marked by significant periods of solitude. Following his dramatic conversion on the road to Damascus, Paul spent 3 years in Arabia, a time crucial for his spiritual development and comprehension of the gospel he would later preach with fervor. Just as Paul experienced, anyone feeling compelled toward substantial roles may go through similar periods of isolation. This might mean stepping back from usual social engagements to prioritize spiritual growth, dive into intensive study, or simply take time to pray for God's guidance. For those in leadership positions, this solitude becomes a powerful time to cultivate essential skills like decision-making, conflict resolution, and empathetic leadership. It provides an opportunity to confront personal strengths and weaknesses without the facade that social interactions often require. This space allows for wrestling with doubts, fears, and aspirations in ways that deepen understanding and fortify character. Such measures are critical for when the time comes to lead, because they ensure not only knowledge, but also wisdom and integrity. If you find yourself in a season of solitude, consider how this time may be gearing you up for future responsibilities. Embrace this period as one of significant development and growth. Use it to strengthen your relationship with God, clarifying your calling, and preparing your heart and mind for upcoming tasks. Reflect on the areas in which God may be calling you to evolve during this time of solitude. What spiritual qualities must you nurture? How can you utilize this time to become the leader God envisions you to be? Connect with scriptures focused on preparation and growth, and seek out mentors who can support you throughout this journey. In conclusion, solitude as preparation for future roles is a divine strategy historically utilized to equip God's chosen ones for their unique destinies. While it may feel lonely at times, this solitude is not empty. Instead, it is filled with purpose. It is a transformative time when God molds and shapes you into the instrument needed to fulfill His grand plans. Embrace your solitude with the understanding that it prepares you for greater things than you can imagine. The final reason why God's chosen ones frequently find themselves alone is due to their detachment from worldly matters. This detachment doesn't signal indifference or neglect, but rather a strategic focus on higher spiritual priorities that often diverge from societal norms and values. Worldly detachment entails a conscious commitment to prioritize spiritual values over fleeting desires and distractions. This might manifest as a reduced interest in material wealth, fame, or social status. For chosen ones, their hearts are aligned with divine purposes that often require them to walk a path distinctly different from those around them. Consider the example of Daniel from the Old Testament, who, while in Babylonian captivity, chose not to defile himself with royal food and wine. This decision exemplified his detachment from the luxuries and temptations surrounding him, allowing him to maintain spiritual integrity and focus. Though his choices often led him to solitude, they also positioned him for unique influence and spiritual authority. In today's landscape, opting for a life detached from worldly values can mean making choices that are countercultural. This could involve turning away from certain entertainment, avoiding consumer-driven lifestyles, or prioritizing spiritual pursuits over purely social activities. Such decisions might render you socially solitary, but they are vital for upholding a clear focus on your spiritual journey. For those on a mission towards significant spiritual responsibilities, maintaining focus is essential. The distractions of the world can easily dilute one's spiritual effectiveness, risking compromise in their mission. Detachment serves to safeguard one's spiritual objectives and keep chosen ones aligned with their divine purpose, even at the potential cost of walking a lonelier path. If you often find yourself alone due to your spiritual choices, remember that your detachment is not a loss, but rather a profound gain on your spiritual journey. It represents a strength that keeps you true to your calling and sensitive to God's direction. Welcome your unique path, recognizing that your choices carry eternal significance. While detachment is necessary, it is equally important to maintain balance. Ensure you are not isolating yourself unnecessarily. Engage in community activities that align with your values. Make connections with like-minded individuals, and find ways to contribute to society while safeguarding your spiritual integrity. This balance will allow you to stay connected to the world you are called to serve, without falling prey to its distractions. In summary, worldly detachment is a defining characteristic of many chosen ones, highlighting a deliberate focus on the eternal rather than the transient. It reflects a commitment to divine purposes over worldly pleasures. Such a focus may lead to solitude, but it also fosters a richer and deeper spiritual life. Embrace your detachment as a vital component of your spiritual journey, understanding that it prepares you for the impactful role you are destined to fulfill within God's overarching plan. As we conclude our journey through the 7 reasons why God's chosen ones often find themselves alone, we hope you have discovered reassurance and clarity within our discussion today. Remember, your solitude is not a sign of neglect. Rather, it is a mark of distinction and preparation for the greater things that God has in store for you. Now we turn to you, our beloved community. If this video has resonated with your heart, if you feel a connection to the reasons we've explored today, we invite you to engage with us. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. How has solitude influenced your spiritual pilgrimage? What growth and challenges have you faced during these times of being alone? Your stories are invaluable, not only to us, but to others within our community who might be seeking guidance and affirmation on their own journeys. Don't forget to like this video if it has enlightened you. Your support helps others discover this content, expanding our growing community of faith. Join us at Chosen One's Sanctuary for more videos that delve into the spiritual dimensions of life, offering guidance and encouragement for your faith journey. Lastly, consider sharing this video with friends or family members who may benefit from understanding these spiritual dynamics. Sometimes, simply knowing that we are not alone in our experiences can inspire and uplift those around us. In our journey through life, feeling isolated in our experiences can profoundly impact us. Let's come together to uplift one another as we walk with God. We deeply appreciate your presence in our community and encourage you to keep seeking and growing in faith. Always remember, even in the most solitary times, you are never truly by yourself. God is ever present, guiding you toward your divine destiny. We eagerly anticipate your next visit to Chosen One Sanctuary. God bless you.